everybody, my name is Tommy and today I'm going to be your teacher. So today we are going to learn about change for your life, and we're not just gonna from one place to another, we hop up or leap up and go to another change. No, we take one step at a time. Okay, so now if you're this kind of person watching TV about heroes, wishing you want to be a hero, you just fall asleep, sleep, then you're quite at a glance of the person you want to be and the person you are today. Now let's look at her dream. She is, whoever she is, a very tall person, long thin arms, the first one carrying a bunch of plates, the other one carrying a scrub. In 5 seconds she's done. She is done. Now, that's not a very useful idea. She might have an addiction to Reddit, an addiction to other things as well, and she has constant distraction, which leads her to an unhappy ending. Now let's move on with some things that you need to worry about when you change from one step to another. First thing you need to worry about is routines. With routines, you can make your stuff easier and more or less complicated. For example, first in the morning you eat your breakfast, then you go to work, then you will work. Then you have some free time at lunch to eat your lunch. Then you work. Then you go home. Then you go to sleep. You wake up and then you eat your breakfast again. That's called a work cycle or a routine. Now, for this routine, we need to apply it for whole days. As you see in these types that you might see. For example, first of all, in the morning, you wake up, make your bed, turn off the lights, and then start to do some jumping jacks or push-ups or sit-ups, like that. First time you need to do that. Next, brush your teeth. You need to brush your teeth regularly each day, and then eat a healthy meal. Here, eat a healthy meal to get a balanced diet. What's more? Well, before you go to school, if you have an assignment and you're not finished yet, you could work on your novel. When you work on your novel means that you don't do anything else, but you just work on something that you're proud of and something that you are sure you can finish in this one day. Now let's move on with the next part. When we study at school time, we have break time, right? Then we could read our books instead of chatting and browsing on Reddit. As like I said, no Reddit. It can constant distraction. Let's move on with the next one. For example, you have morning break time and an evening break time and an afternoon break time. It is this line, okay? This line. So today we're gonna cancel out all the Reddit and see if we can actually cancel out Reddit or our whole lives. So I already made to these lines. As you can see, we're almost done erasing out Reddit, and now we're gonna move on to this. Well, for this, I'm gonna talk about the afternoon break, which is do your hobbies instead of browsing on Reddit. Under here, the Reddit, I said no browsing Reddit ever. Children should not browse Reddit. Only people that are larger or older can browse Reddit 1 or 2 times a week, but children especially young children, please do not browse it. So we crossed off another line on the Reddit. There. Now let's move on with the next one. Things you must do or about the jungle. So you're just walking through a jungle. Ow, 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 ow. You get out of the jungle. You're covered in spikes. You think next time you'll bring a knife. You go cut, 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 cut. There. And you have a nicely clean path. You go through that path every day, and every time you bring a larger knife or even a sword or even the normal knife and swing it around precariously. Swing, 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 swing until you get a large path. That path turns into a normal path. Then it turns into a road. And then it turns into a highway. Like that. Now that we finished the part about the jungle, let's move on with what we can do in the jungle. That's a cross, okay? So now, what we can do in the jungle. It's not the normal jungle, but it's your brain jungle. Well, since your brain has developed, it has said, hey, I'm tired of all this stuff going on in my head. I'm gonna plant a few trees and then make a forest and then we're gonna sort things up. So it built a forest and then it said, hey, I'm not done yet. I need to blah blah blah. Think about what we should do with the information in our head. For example, we need to cut out a path for every piece of information so that it flows through freely and it doesn't get stuck in any part of the path and doesn't get mixed up with the rest of the forest. It will go through the path and get some normal rest. There. So that's the story of the brain. Another cross. Now, we're almost done with Reddit, the bad. We only have a few more ones before we can erase the whole Reddit. Now let's move on with the next one I want to talk about to you. It is how our brain works. We've learned about the immune system and how the brain actually works. So it's kind of simple, but now I'm going to teach you a more complicated way so that you can make a step forward to being a better person. Our brain works in a simultaneously fantastic way. And first of all, it has the brain cover. It covers the brain. It has the brain tissue, which helps you think. Then it has the brain wave system, which is the forest that I was talking about. And finally, there is the backbone that leads all the calcium from the brain down to all your bones, and then your zip line. So those are the parts of your brain, which now I'm gonna raise the whole around of this Reddit. Now we only have the middle of the Reddit until we finish. There, erase the whole around of the Reddit. Now we're on the Reddit and it's cross to go. Now, let's move on. Now we're gonna talk about a few facts of why we never use Reddit and how it can affect our lives. First, why we don't use Reddit. When we use Reddit, it affects our brain. It causes an addiction. We don't use Google like every other person does, and Google doesn't create an addiction, but Reddit does. All day posting and reading creates an addiction. Let's move on with how it can affect children's lives. Well, when it creates an addiction, people go crazy. I mean it, crazy. And then they have to go to goof houses or underground to get it removed, the craziness removed, and then they're banned for their videos and their games, and then they're browsing for the whole few months or even years. So those are some things that I want to talk about to you. And finally, we have erased the whole Reddit. Let's erase the Reddit. Erase its cross. There we go. So now we finished erasing the whole Reddit. Look, no more Reddit. So everything you learned today is how to stop your addiction and do not use Reddit. So bye bye everybody with the next part. Bye.